Christmas dinner was supposed to be a celebration, but it turned into a public humiliation. My daughter-in-law stood in front of the entire family, smiled proudly, and announced that she controlled everything now. Then she revealed that my bank cards had been shut off and that my authority in the family was finished. The room erupted in applause. My own son sat beside her without saying a word. Everyone thought I had lost everything. They had no idea that one secret I had protected for years was about to destroy the illusion they had built around themselves. My name is Richard, and I spent more than 30 years building a successful business from the ground up. Every sacrifice I made was for my family. I wanted my children and future grandchildren to have security long after I was gone. When my son Daniel married Olivia, I welcomed her with open arms. She seemed intelligent, confident, and ambitious. At first, I believed those qualities would help strengthen our family. Unfortunately, as time passed, her ambition slowly transformed into something else. She became obsessed with status, influence, and control. Family gatherings stopped feeling like family events and started feeling like opportunities for her to show everyone how important she believed she was. During the first few years of their marriage, Daniel and Olivia appeared happy. However, the more successful our business became, the more Olivia changed. She loved talking about money, ownership, and power. Whenever relatives visited, she would casually mention how she and Daniel would eventually take over everything. Most people laughed and treated it as harmless confidence. But I noticed something deeper. She wanted people to see her as the person already in charge. Slowly, Daniel started changing, too. He stopped asking for my advice and began repeating Olivia's opinions as if they were facts. Relatives who once respected my experience started acting differently around me. Rumors even began spreading that I had secretly retired and handed complete control to Daniel and Olivia. The strange part was that I had never made such an announcement. A few months before Christmas, I noticed several decisions being made without my knowledge. Certain financial accounts that were meant for operational expenses were suddenly being treated as if they represented the entire company. Olivia spoke confidently about future investments and major business plans, even though she had no authority to make those decisions. Every time I questioned the situation, Daniel reassured me that everything was under control. Still, I felt something wasn't right. It became obvious that Olivia wanted everyone to believe she already controlled the family empire. What she didn't know was that years earlier, after receiving professional legal advice, I had placed the most valuable company assets into a protected trust. The arrangement ensured that no single person could gain control through pressure, manipulation, or family politics. Very few people knew about it because I trusted my family. Looking back, that trust may have been my biggest mistake. When Christmas dinner finally arrived, nearly 30 relatives gathered at an expensive restaurant chosen by Olivia herself. The atmosphere seemed festive, but something felt different. Throughout the evening, I noticed several family members whispering and glancing in my direction. It felt as if everyone already knew something I didn't. After dessert was served, Olivia stood up and tapped her glass for attention. The room immediately became silent. With a confident smile, she thanked everyone for supporting her and Daniel before making a shocking announcement. She declared that a new generation was officially taking over and that she would now be responsible for the family's future decisions. Then she looked directly at me and proudly announced that my cards had been disabled because it was time for me to step aside. Several relatives began applauding. Some even laughed. I looked toward Daniel, expecting him to stop the humiliation, but he simply lowered his eyes and remained silent. I listened quietly until the applause faded. Then I slowly stood up from my chair and smiled at my son. In a calm voice, I asked a simple question. Daniel, are you absolutely sure she knows who really owns everything? The effect was immediate. My son's face lost all color. Olivia looked confused before demanding to know what I meant. The room suddenly became silent. Every eye turned toward me. I calmly explained that while they may have access to certain operating accounts, neither of them actually own the companies, the investment portfolios, or the properties they believe belong to them. Olivia laughed nervously and accused me of making excuses because I was embarrassed. That was when the doors opened and my attorney walked into the room carrying several folders. Earlier that day, I had asked my attorney to attend because I suspected something unusual was about to happen. He placed the documents on the table and began explaining the legal structure of the business. One document after another confirmed the truth. The trust owned the companies. The trust owned the properties. The trust controlled the investments. Neither Daniel nor Olivia possessed the authority they had been claiming. The room that had erupted in applause only minutes earlier became completely silent. Relatives who had been smiling now stared at the table. Olivia grabbed the documents and frantically searched through them, hoping to find a mistake. There wasn't one. Everything had been legally established years before she even joined the family. The situation became even worse when records revealed several occasions where she had attempted to make decisions far beyond her authority. While no laws had been broken, the evidence showed a clear pattern of overstepping boundaries. The confidence she displayed earlier completely disappeared. Before leaving the restaurant, I addressed the family one final time. I explained that leadership is not about embarrassing people, demanding control, or chasing power. True leadership is built on trust, responsibility, and respect. Money can buy influence, but it cannot buy character. I looked directly at Daniel and told him that mistakes can be corrected if someone is willing to face the truth. Months later, he apologized sincerely for allowing pride and manipulation to damage our relationship. Olivia eventually stepped away from the business, and the family slowly began rebuilding what had been broken. The lesson from that Christmas dinner remains unforgettable. The loudest person in the room may appear powerful, but real strength belongs to the person who knows the truth and waits patiently for the right moment to reveal it. She thought she controlled the family. She thought she controlled the money. She thought she controlled the future. But that Christmas night, she learned a lesson that everyone in the room would never forget. Power built on arrogance never lasts.